Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, well, actually it was Japan, some clever men in white coats decided it was time Suzuki had a big V-twin sports bike in their lineup. And so they set about creating a 1000cc V-twin motor. And it was an absolute perler. It had loads of bottom end, it had a great gearbox, it even had a bit of top end thrown in as well. Sadly, the chassis that they wrapped it up in to create the TL1000S never quite made the grade. It cut it quite well at the track, it was a good sports bike, but it did have a tendency that some owners found to tank slap itself into the nearest ditch. Sadly, this generated a lot of bad publicity, and after more bad press than Michael Barrymore, the TL1000S bit the dust, along with the subsequent R. All of which left Suzuki with this great engine, but nowhere to put it. So what could they do? Well, one of the great things they've done is create this here, the V-Strom. And in this, I think they've found a very good home for the TL lump indeed.
First things first though, I wouldn't recommend you take this bike off-road. Essentially, it is an off-roader in looks only. Head for the hills on one of these, and rather than bounding across the surrounding countryside, you're liable instead to become a part of it very quickly as you slither into the nearest ditch in an ungainly heap.
There's a genuine 100 horsepower to be had out of this slightly detuned TL motor in here. The only thing that's really missing is that zinging top end that the old TL had. Otherwise, you've got a really lovely strong mid-range with a good bit of bottom end. All of it very accessible and easy to get to. Only thing you'll want to do is steer clear of the sort of 50-60 mile an hour mark in top gear, because it'll vibrate that much it'll probably shake your fillings into your lap. Otherwise, you've got all the power you could need to go up to about 130-135 mile an hour should you ever feel the need. None of this quite compensates for the looks. Quirky it may be, but as far as I can see, all that Suzuki have done here is take a look at Yamaha's oddball TDM 900, then have a go at recreating it themselves, blindfolded and with their hands tied behind their back.
But looks aren't everything, and beauty is all in the eye of the beholder, so without further ado, let's go to the handling. Well, you'd certainly never call it excellent, but it does have a certain basic charm about it. The forks, sadly, are a bit on the duff side, bouncing about largely with a mind of their own and feeling undersprung and underdamped. But unless you're hard on the anchors, they do an alright job. Otherwise, the rest of the chassis shot combination holds the Suzuki together well enough to let you get reasonably energetic with it and actually have a bit of a giggle.
So there we have it, Suzuki's V-Strom. The brakes brake, although if we're being a bit picky, we could say the front could be a little stronger. The gearbox changes gear, the clocks, well, yep, they clock. And there's enough motor in that motor that should you wish to play silly beggars, it'll happily stick a smile across your face. Just so long as you don't want to go admiring your reflection in any shop windows, you'll get along just fine with one of these. But now, it's time for the scores.
Performance, 7 out of 10. The motor is what really makes this bike an awful lot of fun, and the handling package is very competent too. Styling, 5 out of 10, and that's being generous. Reliability, 7 out of 10. Very good all round, but the only thing it's going to lose marks for are the fact that that motor, as soon as it's seen a winter, unless you really look after it, it's going to look a bit iffy. Value for money, 7 out of 10. Good solid price, good solid bike. Street cred, 4 out of 10. Don't think you're going to be turning too many heads riding one of these down the high street unless you're turning them away from you.